Well, hello there, my fellow rushers. How are you doing today? King Rexy here, and today we have a special video because today one of my friends is having a birthday, and for that occasion he made a hero for Kingdom Rush, and I decided to give it a review because, it's fitting for his birthday. His name is Trevorian, so shout out to him if he's watching the video. And the name of the hero is Kayle, and from what I read, she is pretty OP. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Also, can we appreciate the fact that that the document file is called Trevorian's waifu? I don't know why, it just makes me giggle. Anyway, here's a short summary of her lore. An angel knight from another world fell from the sky onto Dinas' castle, claiming to be the aspect of justice. Kayle, noticing the massive robot and the army of bandits at the gates of Leneria, charged to help Dinas in the fight against Vesna's forces. Nice. Pretty short, but sweet lore. So yeah, she fights for Dinas, so she can't be in Vengeance. I wonder in which game she is then. Here are her stats at level 1. 645 HP, really high amount of health. Armor and magic resistance, so she has hybrid resistances. 25% armor and 15% magic resist. That's not bad, a little bit of both resistances is nice, that kind of balances it out. 34 to 67 damage, both in range and melee. Melee damage is physical and range is magic damage. Alright, so she has both melee and ranged attacks. But not in the traditional way that you think. It gets very interesting, we'll get to that in a minute. Attack speed 0.7 for both ranged and melee. Now that's some really high attack speed there. HP regen is 9 every 5 seconds. Regens both in and out of combat. So her base regen is really low, like she barely regenerates any health. 9 HP every 5 seconds, I mean, granted it's in and out of combat, so even if she's fighting she's still gonna get that HP, but unlike other heroes, she doesn't have that good regen, so that sucks a bit. But for having such a high health and resistance, it's a respectable damage, I guess it's fine. Movement speed is average, attack range is 175, I assume that's for the ranged attack. And yeah, each level she gets 90 HP, 0.5 HP regen, so her regen gets higher as you level her up, plus 2% armor and 1% magic resistance, and plus 2 damage. Not bad. But here's where things get really interesting, the passive. The passive alone is ridiculous. So let's check it out. Divine Ascent. Every time Kayle strikes an enemy, she gets plus 20% attack speed, which caps at 100%, and when the 100% cap is reached, she also gets 20% more movement speed. So you basically get a double attack speed after 5 attacks. So from 0.7 attack speed, you go all the way down to 0.35. That's a lot of attack speed. That's almost the same as the Wild Magus from Origins, which speaks volumes for how much DPS she can pump out in a short span. Alright. The movement and the attack speed buff lasts 5 seconds, so for 5 seconds you get you get to go burr, basically. Kayle can't use her ranged attacks until she reaches level 3. See, I said it's gonna get interesting. This doesn't apply to the abilities. At level 6, Kayle shoots waves of fire with her basic attacks when she hits the 100% attack speed bonus cap from her passive. The waves of fire hit all enemies in front of her, but if the passive buff ends, then she loses her fire waves until the cap is reached again. At level 9, Kayle's basic attacks are permanently transformed into the waves of fire, and she now has 275 range, and she now flies when moving, which grants her fast movement speed. When Kayle reaches level 6, she changes her appearance. Damn, she hot XD. But yeah, that passive alone just makes up a really unique hero. You start off as a melee champion, then you would transform into a ranged champion with a special effect after you proc your passive. And at level 9, you basically you have permanent passive on. And on top of that, you also get more range. And it's a small increase, 100 range, but it's something. And then you also get fast movement speed while moving. So yeah, this is pretty much the equivalent of a scaling champion. You start off kinda iffy, but then as you level up, you become really strong. But now let's get to the actual abilities. Radiant Blast. Kayle shoots a projectile from her sword that explodes upon hitting a target, dealing 200 physical damage to the target and 100 magic damage to everything hit by the explosion, while also slowing all targets hit by 50% and reducing their armor and magic resistance by 15%. 20 seconds cooldown. Ooh, alright. Now, there isn't like linear scaling on this ability, so I assume this is the ability maxed out, and that's pretty decent. 200 physical damage and then 100 magic damage in an area with a slow is pretty good. And then you also reduce the enemy's resistances. Now, 15% may not seem like all that much, but still, reducing the enemy's resistance, especially if it's a high tier enemy, can make killing him a little bit faster, which is nice. And for a 20 seconds cooldown, I think the ability is perfectly fine. Celestial Blessing. Activates an aura around Kayle, healing all allies and herself for 45 HP every second, while also giving Kayle 20% movement speed and boosting the stats of nearby paladins by 20%. Last 12 seconds, 1 minute cooldown. Ooh, that's a long cooldown right there, but when you think about it, 45 HP regen per second for 12 seconds. That's a lot of health. That's over 500 health for the duration. That's insane, man. And then you also get the movement speed boost, and you boost the stats of paladins. Now, I'm not sure why only paladins. I guess it's more fitting because, she's like the aspect of justice and she's kind of like a fallen angel, so it makes sense that she's kind of related to the paladins. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So, paladins get pretty beefy. 20% extra stats for the paladins. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty juicy. They're basically gonna be nearly invincible. Okay, let's move on. What do we have here? Starfire Spellblade. Ooh, okay. Kayle enchants her sword with a Holy Flames, making the next basic attack ranged that does 50% more magic damage and 10% missing health magic damage. At level 6, this ability deals 50% of the damage around the target hit by it. 15% 15 seconds cooldown. Pretty strong ability if I do say so myself. Like 50% more damage, I guess that's from her basic attack. So you get an empowered auto attack that deals 50% more damage and it deals additional missing health damage. Now, 10% missing health may not seem like all that much, but compare it when you... Now, since we have paladins mentioned here, I would assume that she is for the original Kingdom Rush. So imagine this on like a, I don't know, let's say Abomination. They have like 3000 health. So 10% missing health, that's a lot. Like, especially if they're kind of like low on health, if they have like 500 health, you're gonna probably one-shot them if they're low health. It's kind of like a mini execute, basically. Now, probably the execute is based on the... it only goes for the single target execute, because if it's in an area that deals missing health damage, then that's gonna be very busted. Speaking of busted, here's her ultimate. Yes, she does have an ultimate. I know the design is a bit weird because in the original Kingdom Rush you only have 2 abilities, but Kayle is special. All right, she has more than 2 abilities. She has a lot more going for her. Divine Judgment. So that's her ult. When below 40% HP, Kayle lights up the path around her in a 725 range, and during the ult, Kayle becomes invincible for 2.5 seconds, and after the invincibility ends, she rains down swords in the lights and lights up the area, dealing 400 true damage. Cooldown of 2 minutes. Now that's pretty OP. You basically get a free safety net. So if she ever gets low on health, which I mean, come on, when you have pretty good resistance and an insanely high HP with that attack speed, I doubt that anything can get you low enough. But if you really limit test her and you put her below 40% health, she's gonna pretty much delete. I don't know, like the 725 range is a lot. That's more range than the Golden Longbow Tower has with the upgrades. So you can kind of imagine how OP this ability is gonna be. Granted, 400 damage may not be the highest number we've seen, but 400 true damage is still a lot, especially when you consider the AoE that it's casted in. So yeah, if you're getting overwhelmed and Kayle is about to die, you just use this, and if you manage to survive for 2.5 seconds, you just do a lot of damage and you would just annihilate almost anything. I liked. And now here we have the voice lines. When moved. On Wings of Fire, Hope Ascends. When using Celestial Blessing. Flame Purifies. Nice. Kayle when ulting. I am your salvation. When leveling up, as evil grows, so shall I. When killed, if I could see my sister. Ah, I see what you're referring to. Spawning in. If you are innocent, I wouldn't be here. Oh yeah. And also here's a reference image of Kayle and how she's supposed to look like. And as you can see, goddamn, she is pretty dope. Now, another something that I probably should have mentioned earlier, but I forgot. She is very heavily inspired by League of Legends. If you played League of Legends, you probably know who Kayle is. If you don't, well, now you can kind of see how she looks in the game, and she is pretty good looking. I mean, look at that. I will be terrified if this thing pulled up in front of me and be like, I'm gonna be judging you because oh boy, I'm probably getting executed if she appears in front of me. But yeah, I really like the design. Pretty unique, you know. For the original Kingdom Rush, I was expecting just 2 abilities and maybe a passive, and that's it. But no, here we have a passive, 3 abilities, and an ultimate. Now, I'm not sure how the ultimate is gonna work. I guess I guess with her, in her case, you're gonna have an additional button where you can press her ult. Or maybe, no, because it says below 40% HP, so maybe the ultimate will not be available until she gets below 40% HP. Or, what it could be is that whenever she drops below 40% HP, the ultimate automatically activates. I don't know. I mean, the design is cool. Could have been a little bit more describing, but, you know, it is what it is. I really like the design, and yeah, hopefully you guys will like it too. Comment down below what you think of Kayle and how she would fit in the original Kingdom Rush. I think she will be the best hero in there. I think Ignis will be the second best hero in the game if Kayle was invented in the original Kingdom Rush. Especially with that ult and the passive. Like, the passive alone is my favorite part. Because that's what a unique hero design should look like. So yeah, guys. Well, with that out of the way, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future. And while you're at it, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. Also, Trevorian, happy birthday. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Until it comes, that was King XD. Over and out.